So good morning, folks. Eugene Valdez here. Welcome to today's show, episode 82. Can you believe it? The title of the episode is The Anatomy of a Startup. Many of you watching or listening today are either a startup or you're thinking about being one. All I can say is I don't want to put bad news on it, but the mortality rate for startups is very high, so you got to know your P's and Q's. My guests today are Shawn Washington and Tamera Washington, who are veterans of startup ventures. They're going to share with us their thoughts, good and bad. So fasten up your seatbelts. So what if I would, could we get, before we get to the meat of it, I'd like to just give a little bio on my guest speakers, Shawn and Tamera. Thank you for joining me. Now, Shawn is a CPA and a graduate of San Diego State College and formerly worked for the IRS, America's favorite company. And he learned his, along the way, he worked with a few other small regional accounting firms before he branched out in 1991 and created his own accounting practice, which now is called the Shawn Washington Accountancy Corporation. So he's been doing that for how many years, Shawn?
34.
34 years. He is the co-owner of this business with his wife, Tamera. And Tamera does the heavy lifting. Shawn takes all the credit. And Tamera joined the firm in 2004. So she takes care of the clients, makes them happy, takes care of operational issues. So that's a full-time job. Now, so the seed of any business is an idea. Where do ideas come from? They come from the kitchen table. So Shawn and Tamera were sitting at their kitchen table. They had an idea and they decided that they wanted to act on their idea. They sort of fell in love with their idea, but it was right in their wheelhouse. They had the experience. And we're going to get into great detail about that. But it is an app called Mileage Quest, which I'm not going to get into detail on that. They can do that. But so now they have another entrepreneurial venture startup going, just like they did when they had the accountancy corporation 34 years ago. And from what I understand, they work at both companies tirelessly. So how many hours are in your week? There's only 40 in mine. I don't know how they do it. They must have some secret vitamins or herbs or minerals or workout videos you see on YouTube. I don't know how they do it. But they definitely have the energy. And we're going to learn a lot about that a little bit later. So I wasn't supposed to say this. Shawn begged me, but in 2004, he was named the sexiest CPA alive by People magazine. And I always say, if it's fact, you ain't bragging. So enough of me rambling on. Let's bring out Shawn and Tamera.
Good afternoon.
How are the two of you?
Oh, great.
I'm doing much better now. I can brag and say that I'm married to the sexiest man in the world.
That's true.
I'm encouraged.
But that was 2015. That was 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, nevertheless.
Yeah.
It's a feather in my cap.
It's a good thing nobody fact checks, but anyway.
All right. So I guess the where's the beef question is, you guys you're already working hard. You're making a lot of money. Why start another venture? Tamera, you handle that one. Why did you start this?
You know, it's a wonderful thing. I tell you, for being married to your boss, being married to your best friend, being married to your confidant, because you have all that wonderful time to spend with each other to have conversations about a host of things.
Yeah.
And what happened was actually this was during tax season.
Okay.
I'd say about 10 years ago. It was during tax season. And of course, we're always looking for best practices, right? We're
Yeah.
always wanting to contribute to the success of our clients. And as we were approaching that 11th hour of tax season, we were like, you know what? We have to plan better and assist our clients in planning better when it comes to preparing for tax season. And everyone knows that the first quarter of every year is an absolutely harrowing event or a time period for anyone that prepares tax returns. It's stressful on the staff, it's stressful on the
Right.
clients. And we were just pondering. We were trying to figure out ways to better assist our clients in gathering their data, right? So the
Okay.
so I'm sure you've experienced yourself
Oh yeah.
where it's April 1st and you're thinking, oh, the deadline is on the 15th. My CPA or my tax preparer is stressing me out. They want X, number of documents to serve as backup. And that indeed is the case. That's just the reality of our world. But that's the long answer. The short answer is Shawn and I were trying to figure out a way to assist our clients in gathering their data more efficiently.
Okay.
And we're using something that perhaps folks aren't aware of as a tax deduction, and that is mileage reimbursement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
So,
of people travel a lot for their business,
exactly. Exactly. So when the clients would come to the office with their shoe boxes full of receipts, of
which is what I
course,
do, what I used to do.
oh,
Yeah.
used to do. That's a good thing. We're speaking in past tense, so
Yeah.
that's good to know. But yeah, they would come to us with their shoe boxes, and that's a fair amount of time that's needed for our staff to go through everything and
Yeah.
organize and whatnot. And of course, we have to pass that cost on to the client.
Right.
So, as far as the best practice piece, we were like, what can we do to assist our clients in making sure that they can monetize all the time that they're spending in their vehicles traveling for business or going back and forth to the doctor's office or to the physical therapist
Right.
or,
Right.
even if they volunteer for their place of worship, if they're volunteering, for the United Way, it doesn't matter. All that time can be tracked and it can be used as a tax deduction. So, where it's the education piece that we're concerned about, we want to make sure that folks are educated to understand what is available to them. But we also want to assist them in streamlining the process of tracking their miles.
Okay. So Mileage Quest is an app,
It is.
and succinctly in 20 words or less, what does it do?
Okay, so it is a smartphone app. It is available both on the iOS and the Android platforms. And the software essentially streamlines the process of managing your mileage, and it's done so through technology. It's a triangulation process, right? So you have your cell phone, it talks to your calendar, and then it also talks to a GPS system. So with all those three in place, you're able to generate qualified IRS compliant reports that
IRS compliant, very important.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Because the IRS gets really cranky when you submit for deductions and you don't have proper backup. So
Well, yeah,
that
Shawn used to be one of those guys. He get cranky, right?
absolutely. Oh, and the staff would just lose their minds. But and I'm sure a lot of companies that reimburse their staff for mileage. It's more than a notion. There is a process, but the good thing about Mileage Quest is it does produce those valued reports. So it streamlines the process of getting authorization for payment as well as serves as a backup when you're filing your tax returns.
Okay. So, Shawn, this question is for you. So, you started your accountancy practice in 1991, and you started Mileage Quest in 2021. Were there some parallels in terms of startup issues that you were confronted with that make you set back a little bit, or was it all smooth sailing? What did you learn from starting? Well, both of you, what did you learn from starting both of these companies?
Well, when the accounting firm was started, I was single. I had a roommate. I rented a room. I had no expenses.
I don't need to get into your personal life, Shawn.
I had no money. And so it was grassroots, and the building process was took quite a bit of time. Whereas with Mileage Quest, we actually have a client base that actually were some of our first subscribers to the app.
Okay. Okay.
And of course, we have the resources, now to, hire the appropriate consultants and staff to help get Mileage Quest to that next level. So that's the difference.
So then really it's a matter of resources. It's critical to a startup or a potential startup.
Absolutely.
Whether that's people, capital, equipment, whatever it is, you got to have resources.
Right.
Okay. So awesome. So how's the business doing now? Well, no, let me back up. So Shawn, with regards to Mileage Quest, what do you do? What's your
Okay.
job description? And then
Okay.
I'll ask Tamera the same question because I know she's the majority owner because she doesn't trust you.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I am a co-founder, a minority co-founder. Okay, that's fine. But my job obviously is CFO. So we have a bookkeeper. And so my job is to make sure the payment platforms work, are secure, and we're able to manage it. Secondly, the joke now with this new startup is everybody says I'm a sales guy who thinks he's an accountant. So I'm involved with the sales aspect of what we do, subscriber success, we call it, connecting the dots, getting people to do trial versions of the app and demos, and helping the sales team deploy and selecting our pipeline of potential subscribers. So that's what I do.
Okay. Okay. And Tamera, what do you do?
Well, I'm a co-founder as well. And I am the CEO, president and CEO of the corporation. So I am the quarterback, so to speak, charting the course, as far as the company is concerned, is a dual responsibility. That is me and Shawn. But for the most part, I'm on the day-to-day operations, ensuring that we are following all the compliance that's required, managing the staff, ensuring that they're staying on point with what the vision is for the company. So I'm the queen bee, in other words.
Did you see the movie Beekeeper with Jason?
I sure did.
We know what the queen bee does. Okay.
Yes.
So now, how is the business doing? This is now your fourth year, right? Are you where you thought you would be? Are you a little behind? Are you ahead? What do you see as the challenges for your startup, which conceivably could be a challenge for one of my listeners' startup?
Okay. Well, for your listeners, make sure they hire a good accountant to help them do projections. We've obviously do projections and we monitor them. So as far
Why
as
is the projections important, Shawn?
because you have to know what your costs are, and you have to have a target for bringing on business, and you
Yeah,
have to know what your break-even point is, and
right,
when you're going to reach that break-even point.
right,
And also, it helps you. And the budget was done even before, while the app was being developed, even maybe a little bit before, to make sure mathematically this would make sense.
right.
Is it real? Is the pricing realistic? Is the number of subscribers realistic? And what's the cost related to that? And so you want to get to break even pretty quickly. So
Okay. I mean, that's important for startups, because if they don't estimate correctly what their break-even point is, and let's say they secure some kind of financing wherever they get it, if they don't hit break-even, they're going to run out of money.
Mhm. Correct.
Okay, so for the both of you, who is the target market? Is it individuals? Is it businesses? What's the profile of your typical customer these days for Mileage Quest?
Well, since I'm the salesperson, so I'll tackle that, and then Tamera will probably come in. So basically, we identified 20 sectors that would have a great need for this.
20.
Yes,
20.
yes,
Wow.
that would have a great need for this app. A couple of them are healthcare, accountants, outside sales, construction, insurance, finance. So there's, and healthcare is probably the broadest, because a lot of healthcare type companies, the employees use their own vehicle to go to and from to see patients, therapists, home health aides, caregivers,
Yeah.
etc. So, so we have 20, like I said, targeted industries that we focus on from a marketing perspective. And basically, the app is designed, initially, it was designed for the accounting profession to refer to their clients. But as the evolution of the app, what happened is it's really now much broader. It's for individuals that may be independent contractors, maybe somebody that does sales, and they drive their car around to do, promotions and talk to people. And then it's also for B2B, business to business. So we found that companies with 6 to 25 employees, that's our sweet spot. They need this app for so many reasons. It creates efficiency, because some people do handwritten mileage logs, some people do Excel, there's usually mistakes, whereas the app syncs to the calendar, and you can export a reimbursement report from your phone to your supervisor. So they can see you're from 2 locations, they know that it's GPS driven, and it's a great way to manage the mileage reimbursement process. And for payroll and AP staff, it's so much faster because.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you not agree then that one of the number one business tips for a startup is to clearly identify your target market, because you can't be all things to all people, and find the ones that you think, and maybe it'll work out for you, that has the highest and best need for your service or product, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So what's the future look like now? Now, tell me about your sales force.
Well, right
The
now,
sales force, the company, your strategic partnership with them.
yes. Okay. Salesforce, which is the largest CRM organization in the world, they're out of San Francisco and Chicago. We became qualified supplier vendors for them, and so we're in their ecosystem. And Salesforce is taking us to market here shortly, within the next 30 to 45 days, and so we are a part of the Salesforce ecosystem. They've taken a look at the app. They really like the app, and they wanted to bring us into their ecosystem so that they could offer our app to their customer base worldwide. Tamara, do you want to add anything to that about Salesforce?
Yes, the exciting thing about the relationship with them is they had us enroll in their Supplier Diversity Academy.
Okay.
And that was pretty neat, because we were one of 45 companies in their cohort, and this was their inaugural cohort. So that was pretty cool as well. But it's great what Salesforce is doing to bring businesses together. They are very much into the B2B space, and just the promotion of our company to their sphere is incredible. Where oftentimes a startup won't have the opportunity to get in front of major corporations like this and network with their partners. We were blessed to have that opportunity. So, for those who have started their companies, if you're in the tech space, if you're in event planning, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I certainly would suggest that you look into Salesforce to see what they're about. Other companies have their ecosystems as well. But of course, we are speaking quite highly about Salesforce because they embraced us and have taken us under their wing. So
Okay.
that's what I have to share there.
Okay. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. If one of my listeners out there wanted to get a hold of you guys and the company, what's the best way to do that? And I'll also leave it on the notes of this episode so they could pick that up.
Certainly. We do have a toll-free number for those that want to give us a call. That number is 877 955 4667. So that's certainly a good way to get in touch with us. We're on social media. We are on LinkedIn. What is it? Meta. We're working through the Meta platform with Facebook and Instagram. And then you can always go to our website.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's great. Um, is there any last minute takeaway you could give to my listeners that are in the startup category?
Sure. What I would say is, well, as a CPA and as consultants, clients come to me and Tamera, and they say they want to start a business. And my first question is how much do you know about that industry? Oftentimes they know very little about that industry.
Correct.
Then my second question is, how are you going to pay for this? Well, I'm going to take money out of my retirement account. Maybe that's not a smart thing to do. So there's a couple things have to happen. One, you have to really understand the industry that you're going into. You have to obtain the knowledge or have someone partner with you that has the knowledge versus taking your life savings and throwing it into a business that you don't have the background or familiarity about that industry. For us, we work in the reporting and finance, tax uh, industry, and so we understand the nuances associated with mileage claiming on a tax return and backup documentation requirements. So for us, it was a natural fit. So I would say definitely go into or partner with someone who really knows that industry if you don't have the knowledge base.
Okay. So so you've started this successful venture, it's on course. What's the next big step? What does your future look like in 2025? And what's strategic behind that? That maybe you don't have to give any particulars to my audience, but because you got to be always thinking when you have a company, what can we do better?
Right.
That's my opinion.
Can I
What
go
other
first?
markets could we tap that we're just not aware of?
Okay. So I'll go first, then Tamara, you kind of come in. Okay. So basically, because I'm on the sales side, right? We're looking at different channels to introduce our app to, and we have so many irons in the fire, so to speak, to enter into different sales channels, and it's really exciting. We're super busy.
Okay,
Um,
let me stop you for a second, Shawn. So maybe a startup who is using a certain distribution or delivery method should look at other ways that how they can get their product or service in the hands of their potential consumers.
Absolutely.
Don't rely on a one-trick pony. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, got that. That makes sense to me, especially
Right.
this day and age.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing is expanding sales to meet our targets. And then the second thing is continuing to develop the app. You have to continue to, add new features, make it relevant, make it faster, make it useful, and they call it UI UX, user interface, and user experience. You want to make sure that continues to be on the cutting edge. So I focus on app development and the sales piece. So that's what I do.
Okay. I've always suggested to my startup clients that when they have an idea or when they might run it by some friends or family. The technical term is focus group, and just say, "What do you think about this idea?" And as you know, sometimes family and friends are brutally honest. They'll say, "Well, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of," Or they might say, you got a winner there, dude. Roll with it. Did you do any of that, or you just felt that with your background and experience that you were right on target?
We felt with our background and experience, it was a good thing to do.
Yeah, because it seems like with your background with the IRS and the fact that you're a CPA, you've seen the pain of poor bookkeeping, and therefore the need. It wasn't really hard to discover it, in your opinion.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I think that's a wrap, guys. This has been really fun. I wish that you existed when I was a business development officer for banking, when I was traveling all over Southern California. And sometimes my employer would reimburse me for gas, and sometimes I would write it off as a deduction on my Schedule C, but it was always a mess. Where did I go? How much there? What did I do here? How much was personal use? How much is business use? I'm not wired like that. I can't do that. And I, of course, nobody wants to get audited. So I think you have a winner there. And I hope you guys do phenomenally well. You're already doing phenomenally well. And keep up the good work. People get a hold of you. And that's a wrap, unless you have any other things you'd like to state before we signed off.
Well, thank you for having us on. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, how long did you work in banking? 30 years, you say? 40?
About 25 years.
So I just did a quick calculation, and if you had claimed all of your mileage like you were supposed to and invested that money, you'd be another $1 million richer. I'll just leave you with that today, okay?
All right.
Everything's quantifiable.
Shawn Washington, sexiest man alive as a CPA and a member of the Mensa CPAs. He's good looking and he's smart. How do you beat that? You got the world by the tail, dude.
You are terrible.
Tamera, you're lucky you found Tamera.
Yeah, I know. She's amazing.
And everybody knows, and a husband and wife, the husband and the male always think they're the decision maker, but everybody knows the truth is.
I already know.
If the wife says no, that's it. It's over with, or you're on the couch. All right.
So true. So true.
All right, guys, I'm going to sign off.
Okay.
For all my listeners, check out the podcast directories that you use. See it on YouTube under CDO to Rainmaker. And it is the anatomy of a startup, how to do it right and be successful. Bye-bye now. See you later.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
Bye now.
Good luck, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been CEO to Rainmaker with Eugene Valdez. To find out more, like us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. If you have questions, email the show. Find that link and others in the show notes. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time.